Hello, race fans. Welcome to another episode, Short Track Guys Podcast, brought to you by ShortTrackExclusives.com. I'm your host, Thomas Spottis, alongside two other Short Track guys in the studio, as always, Jim Pokrant, driver of the 07, Can'tQuitFishing.com sportsman, and 2021 sportsman champion at Five Flag Speedway here in Pensacola, Florida, and Ted Baber. Ted Baber Video Productions here also at Five Flag Speedway in Pensacola, Florida. What's up, guys?
How we doing?
What's up?
I want to get back to last weekend with the Night of Champions, number one, and how that's sportsman race and everything went Saturday night.
We sucked. We were terrible. The car just wasn't good. We got some huge tires. I don't know how I got them out of the tire pile. They were that huge. They were huge. And it screwed up my geometry. The car wasn't handling really all that good. And in qualifying, go down the back straightaway, you're staring into the sun. I missed my mark getting into 3. And I still went a 20.172, which is almost in the 19s, which is fast as we were in practice. So
127.
Yeah, 127, excuse me. So we were pretty good. But, you know, the race started and the car started pushing and we just kind of hung out, drove it back on the trailer in one piece, and surprise, we moved up a spot in the points. We did get third instead of fourth. Too bad for Maddox Langham. He blew up, which is a shame. That kid's drove a great season and he's had 2 blown engines in 2 races, and that kind of hurt him. Congratulations to Brandon Fowler on the championship in sportsman this year. It kept it in Pensacola, so 2 Pensacola drivers back to back.
850.
That's 850. And congratulations to Jonathan Langham on winning the feature the other night in his new ride that they put together. They took to North Wilkesboro and finished in the top 10 and won the feature Friday night. So good race for him. And congratulations to all the other champions in all the other divisions, and we'll go home and get her ready for the Snowball Derby. I've already got the body off the car. We're redoing a bunch of stuff. We're going to get it faster.
Yeah, and there were multiple champions that were crowned this weekend, and I believe that
is very correct.
Yep.
there were several. First off, starting with the Outlaws, I mean, that one was never really in doubt because Timothy Watson just took off and ran with that one. He wound up with an 83-point lead and by the end of the championship night. Then Connor Sutton was in second, Logan Boyett third, Bubba Winslow fourth, and Todd Jones rounded out the top 5 in that division. We moved to the Pro Trucks. Logan Boyett won the championship with a 26-point lead overall, and Caleb Sanford from Codin, Alabama, was in second. Maddox Langham had a pretty good season. He wound up third. It was, by the end of the season, 39 points out. Seth Christensen, for crying out loud, that young'un can really wheel a truck. He was 4th place, and then Okie Mason, believe it or not, he managed to round out the top 5 in the Pro Truck division. That was pretty darn fantastic.
Well, that Seth Christensen, he won the championship night race and hawked down the 9 truck of Boyett and went around him, which is something no one has been able to do all year long. I mean, he passed Boyett like 3 laps to go and then won the race. So congratulations to him and his team for doing a hell of a thing.
Yeah, right. And being at 14 years old, and he is with, Kurt Britt? Motorsports, I think.
I mean, we have compared Kurt Britt to the Donnie Wilson in the Pro Truck division because he just builds some outstanding vehicles. He has had so many different drivers win championships in that. I mean, from one end to the other, he just knows what he's doing.
Right, and we've thrown those names around with Grant Thompson and Hunter Johnson. Mm-hmm. I think that got in a little accident there at the Derby in the truck.
Had a little bit of a problem last year.
But at Kurt Britt Motorsports, there's Truck Series, man. Anybody gets in there, I don't care if you're 50 or you're 10. They've got good equipment, and you're with them.
Yeah, it's an outstanding group. As a matter of fact, I think he was the one who bought us He paid for
at
our
Hooters. Yeah, for the Derby thing last year at Hooters, he bought our dinner. We're sitting there and the waitress comes up and says, "Your meal's been paid for." I'm like, "By who?" And that gentleman, I'm like, "Well, it's Kurt Britt." So I walked there and told him thank you. He said, "Congratulations on your championship."
Yep. Yeah, but
that was kind of cool.
And we've kind of hit on the sportsmen a little bit, but we'll just go back over it. As Jim said, we congratulate Brandon on winning it. It was still a little bit up in the air, because Brandon wound up with a 23-point lead at the end. Daryl McDonald was second. This guy right over here, this Jim guy, means he even without working at it, he managed to move into third
Yeah,
place.
I still don't know how I got there, but the best finish we had all year is fourth. So 2 DNFs, and we still finished in the top three. So
Yeah, Maddox Langham was fourth place, and Kevin Mitchell rounded up top five. And
which is a streak for us because I think for the last 5 or 6 years I finished in the top three in points, top five since 2013. So, yeah, we've done all right.
Yeah. Well, you're still having fun, though, right?
Yeah, I'm still enjoying it. It's the funding's getting a little expensive. There's some issues, but we're still having fun driving the car. We'll see. We'll try to make things better for the Derby, and then we'll go when we get done with the Derby. We'll make a decision what we're going to do next year.
Well, you've always preached that that's what it was all about anyway, so that's why I asked you. You're just having fun. So
It's still fun. It's frustrating when there's things that you know that are being done that shouldn't be done, and just saying. I know but you know what? We can beat them on a good night when we're all equal. I can beat any of them, so I'm not worried about it.
right. And in the pure stock division, once again, a division that wasn't really in question from the drop of the green flag Saturday night. I want to make sure we get that out. Robert Loper walked the dog on everybody else in the class because he wound up with a overall 68-point lead by the end of the season. Caleb Burkett came in second. Mason Johnston out of 8 Mile. Oki's grandson was fourth, and then Ira Roberts was in the top five. Now, that is the result from the local classes, except for the Modifieds of Mayhem, which have their championship coming up during the Snowball Derby. And we also have Super and Pro Late Model races coming up next weekend.
yes, correct, and that will be a correction from last week's episode. We had to make that correction, and we kind of jumped the gun a little bit. As short track guys, we get excited, and we anticipate things happening a little faster than they should. But it is next week of the 24th, I believe, instead of the 17th. So we look forward to that and giving over the results for that one, because I know there's some big drivers coming in, probably doing a lot of double duty.
Oh, yeah.
Well, also on the 23rd, which is Friday night, they're running a 75-lap Pro Late Model race to make up for one that we lost. So that's going to be kind of cool for those guys to be able to run Friday night. There's not a sport division, so it's just going to be a 75-lapper. You can get tickets. They're going to do a pass for both days, I think they said. So that'd be pretty neat. I don't know if I'm going to go to that one, but I'll definitely be there Saturday night because I'm going to be hooting and hollering and jumping up and down for Bubba Pollard.
Yeah, and speaking of Bubba Pollard, being a Port City Chassis member now, we're doing some Port City Chassis shout-outs a little bit later here, but what do you guys think of his chances of maybe doing double duty this weekend and maybe...
Yeah, it's a possibility. We just don't know. We don't have a list yet of the entries, so we can't be sure.
Yeah, he might. He's done it before, but this year he's not really done that very much. I think he's been mainly concentrating on the supercar, so hopefully he'll get a victory and win at least the Blizzard Championship, and who knows, he may take back the Southern Super Series. Depending on if somebody has trouble, we'll see what happens.
You never know.
Yeah, and that's right. There's only one race that's really not been in his pocket, and that's the Snowball Derby, and that's coming up. So what are the anticipations of his success maybe in a performance this weekend and getting prepared for that ultimate? I know he's going to win it one day, but the Snowball Derby.
Absolutely. He's going to win it one day.
Yeah, we hope so. He's had such good runs there, and then stuff happens, but it's all part of winning that race. It's the Daytona 500 of the short tracks.
Yep. And he's only 19 points out of the lead in the Southern Super Series behind Hunter Robbins. So
but Hunter's been running really good. He's going to have a bad night. Yeah. I would hate to wish that on Hunter because Hunter's kind of now local. So it'd be good to see him run up front. Hopefully, Johanna will get a good finish in one of those 75 lappers because she's gotten back behind the wheel, and it's pretty cool to see her run that number 10 car again.
Very.
Because
iconic.
Because she's a heck of a race car driver. It's really cool to see her back behind the wheel.
Yeah, I love
right, and I think we going to the 24th with the Pro Lates and the Supers with that number 2 night of champions.
Right. That'll be the second night on Saturday night.
Yeah, the Southern Super Series, Alan Turner Pro Late Models, and man, we look forward to talking about that after it's over because it's just really kind of like last week, crowning the champions it can't get any more exciting.
No, it's going to be pretty good too because both races are close and it's going to be really cool. And then we got to talk about William Swalich,
Yeah.
and
Minnesota Missile.
Yep.
Jake Garcia getting into it at the Cars Tour race.
Yeah,
I like Jake Garcia, but Jake Garcia dumped him. He got him once, got him loose, and then when Swalich tried to come down and block again, he got hit a second time in a round. He went to the fence. I don't think Jake meant to send him in the wall. I think Jake meant to move him. It didn't work, and Swalich has got a lot of work to do to fix both of those sets of cars got damaged that weekend, so they got a lot of work to do. Jake won the race and also got fined $4,000, which happened to be the purse of the race. So basically, he got a trophy and went home with nothing, and he's on probation for the rest of the season with any Cars Tour races. And speaking of that, Carson Quapple got into trouble, and he's suspended for a race. I can't remember who it was he got into it with, but he wrecked the guy after the checkered, and the Cars Tour doesn't play that. So they parked him for a race and fined him, I'm pretty sure. But he's definitely suspended for a race, which is probably going to cost him a shot at the championship. Hopefully, Dale Jr. will sit him down and have a talk with him and tell him, hey, man, you can't be doing that stuff. The Cars Tour doesn't play that. This ain't the Southern Super Series. We can do whatever you want. I'm just kidding.
No.
Well, I mean, do you think him winning at North Wilkesboro in that Cars Tour race with Junior finished third in his stable with his owner behind him had a little bit to do with this cockiness, maybe?
I don't think he's cocky. I just think that dude did him wrong and he got even, but he did it in the wrong time. He spun the dude in the fence after the checkered flag, which is a big no-no because you don't know if that guy's unbuckled or is taking his gloves off or something, and then he gets in a bad enough crash that the guy gets hurt.
He's relaxed after the checkered flag.
And I've been guilty of dumping somebody, but I've done it while we were still actually under race conditions. I pulled up beside people and bumped them, but I've never done anything super where I would hurt somebody because I'm like everybody else. I don't want to see anybody get hurt in a race car. But Carson Quapple suspended for a race. Jake Garcia lost $4,000, and the Cars Tour is standing up to that stuff, and I'm glad to see it.
It's like that incident between Bubba and Todd at Todd Jones and Bubba Winslow at Five Flags when Bubba just come up and just crushed his car after the race was over on the front stretch.
Yeah, when there's people there,
Yeah.
he could have hurt somebody. Yeah, that was kind of sad. And I love Bubba Winslow to death, but you can't do stuff like that.
No.
Right, it's dangerous, and you're going to pay a price for that too, if that kind of thing. We had something like that happen years ago with a late model situation there with Grant Enfinger, which was one of our guests earlier.
Right.
And congratulations to him for doing what he's doing right now. He's really impressing everybody again.
Of course.
But it's never been a disappointment. But DJ Vanderley.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
I
Grant
remember
Enfinger.
that. Yeah, Grant was unbuckling, and DJ hit him in the door, backed up, and Grant was actually climbing out of the car, and DJ hit him a second time. I agree with that. That was dumb.
Yeah, you can't do that, and there are penalties and prices that you pay for doing stuff like that. But that's just an example of what you were explaining before.
I'll tell you one back in the day at Five Flags was Steve Webster and Gerald Wilkerson. They'd battle for the lead. Webster knocked him out of the way and won the race, and Gerald pulled up beside him, and you could actually hear them over the cars yelling and cussing at one another, and Webster kind of hit Gerald. Gerald wrecked him in the wall, gets out, whoops Steve Webster's butt. Steve Webster, he beat two of Steve Webster's crew before Gerald's crew could get to the front straightaway. He had two of them knocked down. I'll never forget as a kid, before the wall was around Five Flags, it was years ago. And Gerald told him, I'll be in Mobile tomorrow, and Steve Webster will be there too. And wasn't long after that, Steve Webster quit racing. Actually, it wasn't long after that. It was the Ultra Chem number 55. That's the car I was trying to tell you the other night. We were looking at pictures, and I couldn't tell you. Remember, his name was Steve Webster. It was the Ultra Chem number 55. Beautiful IROC Camaro bodied late model. Gorgeous car.
Wow.
So I remember that. That was crazy because Gerald, he damn sure did. They went at it, and he stuffed him in the inside wall and then got out and kicked his behind. That's insult to injury.
Beat him on and off the track.
Yeah, exactly.
A little bit more of a short track guy's history. For you.
Just a little bit. A little bit.
Trivia.
We try to put that out every week. A little bit of history, a little bit of trivia, which we're going to get to right now. If you guys are into a trivia, I don't want to play a show game for you, but this happens to be episode 14 trivia question. The Cup Series winner this past weekend at Kansas. And I know we don't get into the upper tiers. We don't talk about the whatever. But this past week winner in the Cup Series at Kansas became the 18th different winner this year.
Wow.
And it's only happened 3 times since 2001.
Indeed.
There's only 1 year since then that he eclipsed it by a year with 19 different winners. And what would that year be?
That's for you guys out there.
That is the answer for everybody here. We can try to guess. I'm not going to because I know the answer.
That one would be hard. I'd say 2001 would be the only year I can think of that they had a lot of winners. But
we're gonna throw this out there for our listeners to put an answer in. And Ted's coming up with a calculation. Jim's on record for saying 2001 already, so we'll find out next week. We'll have the answer.
Give me a week to think about it.
Ted wants a week. No.
Put your phone down, Ted. Stop it. Stop it. Quit trying to cheat. Cheater. Stop it. Stop it.
Yeah.
Put the phone
down.
Yeah, that's
No
short track
Google.
racing. Cheaters.
Speaking of cool short track racers, and the guy that supports short track racing an awful lot in the Cup Series, I know we don't talk about it, but it's Kyle Busch. How about that going to RCR next year, driving the 8 car? So some of the Earnhardt fans got to be a little up in arms about that, but you know what? He's going to bring a lot to the depth to that team. I know Tyler Reddick's won a race. I know Pop's boys won one this year driving the 3 car, but I'm here to tell you, he's going to be tough in that 8 car. I'm telling you, he's going to bring them a lot. And now, and I'm a Chevrolet guy, and now he's going to have Chevy trucks racing in the Truck Series, no more Toyotas. I'm not a Toyota fan. I'm not. I haven't. I mean, even Carl Edwards drove them. I'm just like, I'd love Carl Edwards, but I just don't like what he's driving. And I wasn't a Ford guy, but I was a Carl Edwards fan either. So Carl Edwards never drove for Chevrolet, but I think it's a pretty cool deal. And I thought it was funny, ironically, that he gave Kyle Busch a watch. Here, hold my watch. Because he punched Kyle Busch. There's no video of it, but Richard Childress actually punched Kyle Busch one time because he got into it. So, you know, it's pretty cool that another thing that they can make amends like that. But, yes. I mean, you know, Richard Childress looking at his team. Look, we've done a lot lately. We won a couple races, but we haven't been on fire. We need somebody to bring fire to the team, and I think that Kyle Busch is going to bring that fire to that team, and I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, if you need somebody to bring some excitement to a team, I can't think of anybody better.
True. He's got an attitude, but, I mean, why wouldn't he? Wouldn't you be cocky 2-time champion and won more races than anybody in the modern era?
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, you know, he's the only person who's won more races than him is Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah.
So that tells you something. That dude he's a hell of a talent. But I think it's pretty cool. I just wanted to throw that out there for our fans because, I mean, everybody was expecting it, and there he is. So he's in a Chevrolet again.
Anybody that can get down on the apron twice at Daytona and not stuff it in the fence, pretty darn good in my book.
Yeah, he's pretty tough, man. And no matter what he drives, truck, Xfinity, it doesn't matter. He can win in it. He's got a hell of a feel, a good race car driver. And Richard Childress said, and I quote, "When I looked into his eye, I saw the same look, the winning look that I saw with Dale Earnhardt." Mm-hmm. And that's pretty big for Richard Childress to talk about his best friend, because him and Earnhardt were like best friends. They hunted, fished, they did everything together. And to say something like that, as profound as that, he didn't have to say that. He could say he's a great race car driver, I'm glad we got him. But to say something like that, he saw something, because he saw something in Dale Earnhardt, because they told him and Earnhardt wouldn't last 2 months. Y'all ain't going to last together, ain't going to happen. And they, 6 championships and a ton of races at Daytona 500, so.
Well, what number car is he going to be bringing to the table?
He's going to be in the 8 car. They thought it would be cool if he drive 51, if they'd buy the Rick Ware charter and just leave Tyler Reddick in the 8 car and then let him run number 51 under Rowdy, because that's where that came from, was Rowdy Burns. That's where he got his nickname Rowdy, because he drove an Exxon car. His truck was sponsored by Exxon, so they put it on there and called him Rowdy. And his trucks all say Rowdy. It's Rowdy Busch. Mm-hmm. So I know we're not huge fans of that, but the thing about Kyle Busch, he does support short track racing, and that's something I got to remember. Yeah. Him and Dale Jr. are 2 of the biggest short track people. And also, let's not forget, the All-Star race is going back to a short track.
Mm-hmm. That has been confirmed.
Yep. North Wilkesboro. Do you know how cool that is? That old track's been sitting dormant. They run that late model race and pack the house.
Yes.
They said the only thing people complained about was getting in and out there, because it's just a 2-lane road in and out. So you're just going to have to be patient. But that All-Star race going there, oh man. no offense to you dirt guys. I realize
Bucket
y'all were
list.
looking forward to
Yeah.
them digging the track up and y'all running up there, but no.
Sorry.
Sorry. Not sorry.
Not sorry.
I love dirt. I love you dirt guys too. Don't get me wrong. I'm not dogging you out whatsoever. But to keep that track historic and to run a cup race, that's just going to be so huge. I mean, I don't watch any of the cup races anymore, but I will sit down and watch them because I just want to see them guys run around North Wilkesboro. And then what they ought to do is do a nostalgic night when they bring the cars, do like they do at Throwback. Do a throwback for
paint
the
schemes, yeah.
for the All-Star race. How cool would that be? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I mean,
I am so excited about it, and I'm so happy that Dale Jr. is part of it. And I think he was the main person that initiated all this changes with North Wilkesboro being cleaned up and scanned for iRacing, which he's a big advocate for. I think he's one of the top dogs there with iRacing, and then having this racetrack revival come back, and now we're the All-Star races in a year and a half.
well, he's good friends with the owner of North Wilkesboro, and Junior does a lot of flying with him. And he would just nag him, hey, man, what are we going to do about North Wilkesboro? What are we going to do about this? What are we going to do about that? We ought to put it in. And he said, well, and then iRacing wanted to scan it. So Junior said, well, I'll tell you what, we'll go up there, we'll clean the track off, you scan it. At least if we can't race it, we can race. I said last week in the virtual world. And then the guy said, well, why don't we run a late model race and see how it goes?
Right.
And they put a promoter up to it and got to working on it. And I mean, everybody was there. Jeff Hammond and guys like Kenny Wallace, and these guys were all walking around. Corey LaJoy, they were all walking around and spent the night in the motorhome, had a great time. And that's something that needs to happen at that facility. Now, another track I'd love to see them bring back Rockingham.
Oh, yeah.
But it's got to be paved. Rockingham's in terrible shape. It had to be paved. Somebody had to put a lot of money. But nobody likes Rockingham. It's like Wilkesboro's in the middle of nowhere, but there's towns around North Wilkesboro. The money that race is going to bring to the surrounding areas, the hotels and the Airbnbs and the cabins, and because that's what Jonathan Langham and them, they stayed at a cabin up there. Right off the edge of a mountain. Said you went down this little grassy thing and there was a 50-foot drop off down the side of a mountain. He said it was really cool. But I'm in those places, all the money it's going to bring to that area, and I think that area needs a kick in the crotch. Kick in the butt, and brought back. And I think that's going to be great for the economy, great for the people, and just to see that historic place with the lights on again. I mean, it had temporary lights, but to see that place lit up, race ready with the thing, it's just going to be awesome. I want to run that North Wilkesboro race. That's something we talked about because they also said the weekend prior to the Cup race they're going to do another street stock late model type deal. So we got to find when they get the dates released for that. We're going to
Save up.
Yep.
Yeah, save it up.
Who is that? Killer Bee. Save up.
Yeah.
Save it up.
We're going to try to save some money and try to go up there and run. I think that would be like super duper awesome.
Oh, yes. Man, put down some laps at a historic place like that. Oh, Lord.
They said that I asked Jonathan. He said they ran the same gear they ran at Five Lakes, spring shocks, and everything. So they didn't change much. The only thing is they had you on a 10-inch late model tire. But they were you got used tires. And so when you went up to the truck, they threw you 5 tires. You got 6 tires. And I said they threw you 6 out of the truck, and that's all you had. And he said the Jonathan was telling me the big problem they had is rims. They didn't have any. Nobody makes a 10-inch wheel with a 5 3/4 pattern. He said they had to get somebody custom make them some wheels. But I'm pretty sure you can get them because right now nobody's making them. But I'm sure you could get them if you could do that. But I like the idea of running on a late model takeoffs. That saves the racers money.
Yeah.
I think CRA does that. So I don't have to invest in some wheels, but I think that would be cool.
And before we sign off, I just want to give some Port City race car chassis shout outs like we've kind of started doing pretty consistently here from episode to episode. And Brandon Barker from Lee USA, it's a 4/10 mile track like in Opp here at South Alabama Speedway. Was actually a track championship win. And congratulations to him in Lee, New Hampshire, being a track championship winner up there. Owen Hooped at Jennerstown. There's another winner, actually. We're going to kind of combine those. Was Will Heminger. Another win here at Jennerstown Speedway. And Jennerstown's up in Pennsylvania. It's a half mile. And, Jim will appreciate this, too, with Dale Earnhardt, Sterling Marlin, Ken Schrader, and his hero, Darrell Waltrip. Also have been winners up there at Jennerstown back in the day. Rick Martin at Seekonk. Johnny Clark again, which is one of the Clark drivers that we've had come down here to Pensacola in Florida for the Derby, whether it be Cassius or Johnny. They've both been here. He wins again at Spud Speedway, which is in Caribou, Maine. Yeah, it's another 3rd mile bull ring that was built in 1964. And it one of those slinger kind of things and those little bull ring tracks that we talk about. Just congratulations to all the Port City guys that running those chassis, and Bubba Pollard being a part of that stable, which we're big fans of. I do want to give a shout out to Jonathan Davenport with the World 100, his 5th World 100 win at Eldora over Brandon Overton, Chris Madden, Tim McCready, and Ricky Thornton Jr. The 52nd World 100 at Eldora. Jonathan Davenport comes away with the big check for his 5th.
Oh, yeah. Anytime those guys get after it, I mean, they run 3-4 wide slide job into the bottom, bouncing off the cushion. It's some good racing. It really is.
Yeah, and I'd love to watch that. It's just
hell yeah. And then, watch our guys play too. So, it's going to be fun. We got a race coming up. We got things to do, and, we're going to get it done.
Yeah, you guys going to get in the stable and get that 07 ready for the Derby here. And this 24th, I think we have made that correction.
Yes.
The Pro Late Models with Alan Turner and the Southern Super Series race coming up on Saturday night. I think Friday or Saturday night.
Friday.
24th.
It'll be
Saturday
double
night.
header.
Friday night's a 75 lap Pro Late Model race, makeup race. Then Saturday night will be 75 Pro Late Model and 125 Super.
I think it's great, to get that makeup in.
Yeah, that's nice of them. I don't mention nothing else, but that's cool. I mean, I'm glad to see it. It'd be some good racing. It'd be worth sitting in the grandstands, put a beer in your hand, and watch some stock car racing. Come on out.
Some strategy too, because you don't want to tear your car up. If you happen to be in that championship hunt, you don't want to tear it up on Friday night, and not be able to make it to Saturday night.
That's very true. It's going to be interesting.
Well, I mean, we got to wish all the luck to all the competitors out there coming up this weekend at Five Flag Speedway. And guys, it's always a pleasure to have you in the studio. And we get to hang out and talk short track racing and update and kind of progress. And I think there's
just one thing.
Just a trend that we've started again, and I think people are gonna, our listeners are gonna do it with us.
They're gonna expect it
on a 3 count. It's like a 1, 2, 3.
Let's go, Brandon. Good night, everybody.
Thanks for listening.